Hi everyone and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this super cool laces in Starlight Bracelet, and this was designed by Fantastic Looms on Instagram. I'll bring up his profile in just a second. But first I wanted to show you this design. So it is kind of based off the Starlight Mint bracelet here in the center by Claire's Wares. And then you add these things on the sides and this is what it looks like. So I'm going to show you his Instagram. It is Fantastic Looms, just all one word. And this is his account, and this is the design. It looks really nice, so I hope you'll check out his account, give him a follow for me, and I will have his name in the description box below. And to make this bracelet, you're going to want to have a hook. It doesn't really need a double-ended hook, but I'm going to use this crochet hook here. You're also going to want some C-clips to kind of hold your bracelet in place as you're working. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Obviously you'll want some bands too. I'm just going to use one color today like I did here. I'm only going to show you a couple of sections. So to start, we're going to start with a kind of basic Starlight Mint here. So to start, you're going to take two bands. I'm going to use the satin rose or pink topaz, I think it is. You're going to take two bands, put it on your hook. I'll take another band and pull that through and attach this just like so, and you'll flip the second band over the first and over the end of the hook. Now you'll take this and you'll bring your hook around the back and put it back through this band. It's going to look a little bit twisted right now. You're going to take another band, pull that through those two loops and reattach it, and then you're going to pull the second and the third loop over the first loop. And then if your bands kind of look like this, you can pull on these circle bands and push your knots together. Then again, you'll go through the back. So again, just going through the back, putting that on the hook, taking another band through those two loops, and then you'll take the, this is probably where a rainbow loom hook would come in handy. You're going to take the second and third loops and flip them over the first loop. If you want, you can kind of push those knots closer together. And we're going to do this one last time. So take your hook, go around the back, and put that onto those two bands. Grab another band here, pull that through these two, put this back on your hook, and flip the second and third over the first. Now once you have this, what you're going to go ahead and do is just take this off the hook. If you want, you can leave it or you can C-clip it. I'm going to C-clip it just so I don't have to deal with any unraveling bands here. So I'm just going to clip it like this and put this off to the side. And you're going to want to make one of these little side sections. So I already have some made, but I'll show you how to make one. It's very simple. You're just going to take one band, put it on your hook, and then you're going to loop on 8 of these next kind of frilly bands. So you'll take this first band, just put it onto this second band, I guess. Then you're going to lift that first loop back up, flip the second loop over the first and over the end of the hook, and you'll reattach this loop here. So it'll look something like this. And if you've made my Caridia bracelet, this should be a pretty simple step because that's what I use to make the little things in there. And if your bands kind of get undone, just hold them. Next, you'll pull your second band through the first two. You'll lift the first loop back up on your hook and then flip the second loop over the first and over the end, and you'll reattach that. So as you can see, they're going to start kind of going down to the bottom of the band. Like I said, we're going to add 8 bands onto this, so I'll just count as I go along. So pull that to the first two, put that first band up, flip the second band over, and reattach. So now I have 3. Just repeating this process. Here's 4. 5. 6, 7, and 8. So once you have all of these 8 loops onto your hook, what you're going to do is actually take this first band here, cross it over the second band, and then you'll want to grab this first band and pull it off of your hook. So you'll have your bands connected there, and then if you want you can C-clip this or just stick your hook back through. But what we're going to do right now is C-clip it because of the way it's attached. We don't want this to come undone. So go ahead and C-clip this band. And this part is very important, so pay attention. Pay close attention. What you're going to do is you're going to grab the other end of this band. So this band is C-clipped here, and then at the other end, this is where it comes out the bottom. So you're just going to stick your hook through this band. But make sure that you do it in this exact way so that the C-clip is over here and that your little piece here is facing this way. So once you have that on your hook, you can go ahead and pick up your bracelet again and take the C-clip off. You'll put this loop back onto your hook and make sure that you do it in this order. So you'll make sure that when you put this back on, the knots are facing upwards, this little crossbar is facing upwards. And you'll take this loop here and you'll pull it over onto this other pink loop here. So now we're going to go ahead and add 4 more knots on. So just like we did before, going around to the back, putting that on your hook, taking a band through those 2 bands, and then take the second and third band over the first, go through the back, second and third band over the first. I'm going to do this 2 more times. Okay, so once you have done this, it should look something like this. And if you attach this piece right, the C-clip will naturally want to come up here to the top of where you're working, and it'll look something like this. If that is the case, go ahead and take another C-clip and clip this piece off so that your bands don't come undone. And you'll have something that looks like this to start. And what we're now going to do is we're going to work on the other side. Now, for this bracelet, you can work all the way up one side and then all the way up the other side, but I think it would be easier for me to show you guys both sides so that you know how to do both sides, and I'll just kind of switch sides whenever I finish one section. So now, to start the other side, you're going to turn this bracelet around so that the C-clip that you just attached is facing towards you. You're going to stick your hook through these 2 bands, which by the way is going to be a little bit more taut because you've already added 8 stitches on. We're going to add 8 more. But first we're going to add on the 4 original knots here. So go ahead and get 4 bands. We're going to add on 4 knots. So you'll take this band through those 2 and make a slip knot. And then when you go through the back, instead of going through the back this way, go through the back this way. So you'll pull your hook in front and then through the back. Because if you're working up this side here, you'll go through the back part, but then because we're working this backwards, we have to go through the front side first. So you'll pull this band through those 2 and slip those first 2 over the third. You can slide those knots down if you need to. It'll get kind of crowded once we add 8 more stitches on, but for now it's okay the way it is. Alright, so once you have this, your 4 initial loops here, you can either set this aside with the C-clip or without. I'm just going to hold it because you're going to make another one of these little sections here. I already have the rest of mine made for this tutorial, so if you need to make more sections, go ahead and pause here, and I will show you how to add these on. So, we're going to add this on the same way that we did the other one. Make sure that the C-clip is on your right. You're going to stick your hook through the back, or if you're left-handed, make sure the C-clip is on the left, just whichever way your dominant hand is using the hook. And you'll put this onto the band that you either C-clipped or held, and you'll just slide this band over. And then once you do that, we're going to go ahead and add 4 more slip knots on. You can always fiddle with this later. So I'm going to grab 4 more bands, and we're going to add 4 more stitches. So hopefully you have the hang of this slip knot stitch by now. I'm just going to go ahead and get my 4 done, and then I'll show you how to continue on to the next piece. And if you notice your bands are kind of crammed together, you can push the slip knots to one side or the other just to have more room to work. So if you need to push them together, you have room to add your last few. Okay, so once you have added those loops, so your 4 loops after you add this band, it should look something like this, and both of these will be facing upwards. Now you can either continue on this side here, or you can switch back to the other side. I'll just continue here because it's pretty simple. So we're going to start another one of these little center sections here. So you're going to go ahead and put 2 bands on the hook and grab 4 more of your bands. Take this first band through just these 2, put that back on your hook, and you'll slip knot this first one here, and then you'll slip knot this one here as well. So this one from the previous section. Now because I'm still working on this side, I'm going to go through the front of my bands here to make the next 4 stitches. But if you're working on the other side, you will go through the back. So I'll pull this through and pull these over. And an easy way to see if you're doing this right is if these match up with the back where they're supposed to match up. And if they don't match, then you know you're doing something wrong. So right now, mine are going to look something like this. So I know that I'm doing this right. It just gets a little bit weird and twisted when you're adding on those first couple of stitches. So I'm going to add on these last 2. So I've already added 2. Oops. Okay. So now you have your stitches that look something like this. Oops, let's twist around. And hold on. My bands are all sorts of twisted around. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like so far. You're going to have your bands looking like this. And now what we're going to do is attach the other end of this band and another one of these little curly Q things. So what you're going to do is either hold this band or C-clip it, and you're going to take this little curly Q thing, and we're going to attach it the same way that we attached the other ones. So you're going to take, oops, this band is all getting caught in the C-clip. You're going to take your hook through this band here, again making sure that the C-clip is kind of facing your hand. And then what you'll do is take the other end of this band. So because we're working on this side, I'm going to take this band. I'm going to put this on my hook and then put the other end on. You can take this C-clip off if you want, or you can just wait until you pull that through to take it off, but it doesn't really matter as long as you don't take this one off before you add your next bands. So instead of just pulling through one band like we did last time for the rest of the bracelet, you're going to pull through these two. So once you pull through those two loops, you'll go ahead and work with your other 4 stitches. And the way I'm going to do it is actually work through the back. So this is the back side of the bracelet and this is the front side. It's easy to stick my hook through the back because the bands just kind of twist that way. So you're just going to add your 4 more slip knot stitches, and then I'll show you how to work up the other side. And if these 2 bands in the middle get twisted around, it's not that big a deal because you really can't see them at all. So whether they're twisted or not, you won't be able to tell. Okay, so once you have all of these, you can go ahead and clip this just so that your bands don't come apart. And now what we're going to do is work up the other side. So going to this center stitch here, or for the center part, you're going to grab your 4 bands and add 4 slip knot stitches on. Oh, wait. I almost forgot, you have to add this band on too. So before you add on any of your stitches, go ahead and take that out of the C-clip and put it on your hook. Make sure that you stick your hook through the back if you're working on this front side here, just so you don't end up twisting your entire thing around. And then you'll pull through your bands and those slip knot stitches. And you can always fiddle with this if you need to. I'm just going to go through mine first and I'll fiddle with it afterwards. Okay, so once you've added those 4 slip knot stitches, we're going to go ahead and add on these little curlicue things. So remember, first thing you put on is this little section here. Sticking your hook through this band, make sure the C-clip is facing your hand. Then you're going to go ahead and take this band and stick your hook through that band. Make sure you don't collect any of these. You're going to add your slip knot band on as well. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And now I'm going to pull this band through here and this band through here. So now you'll have something that looks like this. It'll be a little bit hard to deal with for a second, but we'll fix it. And now you're going to add on 4 more stitches, your 4 more slip knot bands. Oops. Alright, so once you have added those bands on, it should look something like this. You can always pull on these little bars if you need to make it shorter or longer. And I'm going to show you how to close the bracelet off. You will just continue this process all the way down. You'll add on your 2 center bands, your 4 stitches. You'll add on one of these little curlicues and the end of this other one. And then you'll add on 4 more stitches, go to the other side, repeat the same thing, and just continue this all the way down. And then to close it off, it's fairly easy. I'm going to show you how to do that now. So right before you want to close it off, you're going to make 1 more circle. you're going to take 2 more bands, stick that on your hook. It doesn't really matter what side you're working up first, as long as you know which way to put your bands through. So you'll have 2 bands, you'll take 1 through, and you'll slip knot that band, and then remember to take this other band over as well, making sure that your bands are facing the right way. Go through the back and make another slip knot. You're going to do the regular 4 like you would if you were continuing the bracelet. So I'll have to do 2 more stitches here. Alright, so once you have done those 4 stitches, you'll go ahead and take this loop off, and instead of adding another curlicue section, you'll just add on this band here. So whichever way you'd like to do that. I'm just going to stick my hook through. I know it's off camera, but I'm trying to get it to work without having to drop all my bands. Okay. And when you have this, you're going to go ahead and pull that band on. So just like in the beginning when we only pulled 1 band through, at the end you're only going to pull 1 band through as well. It's only going to be just 1, not 2, since you're closing it off. And you'll do 4 more slip knot stitches. So I'll go ahead and do that. Alright, and once you get to the end, you'll go ahead and take a C-clip and just clip that 1 band off. And now we're going to work on the other side. We're going to do the other side. So remember to take this C-clip off of this band, stick your hook through. Remember what side you're working through. And we're going to go ahead and add 4 more stitches onto this side as well. It's also a lot easier to determine where you're supposed to go when you're doing this at home, like actually doing it, I guess. It's harder to watch than it is to actually do it. Okay, once you've done your first 4 slip knot stitches, you'll go ahead and take this off. You'll grab this other loop here, and stick that other loop back on. We'll take the C-clip off. Oops. And then pull this onto that band. Okay, and now we'll add 4 more stitches onto this band, or onto these 2 center bands, I guess. And once you have pulled through those last 4, you can go ahead and pull that other band onto your hook and attach the C-clip to both of those final loops. So, once you're finished, it should look something like this, but obviously a lot bigger if you're making a full bracelet. But that's what it looks like. So that is going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe. Didn't even fit my thumb in there. I will have Fantastic Looms' name in the description box below. Make sure to check him out on Instagram. Give him a follow for me. But that is all I'm going to have for this video. and I will see you next time.